Mic check, mic check.
Oh, did you shave?
Yeah, dude, I got rid of everything.
Oh
But
my God, look at
yeah. Here's the
you!
crazy thing though. I lost. So I normally don't even like shave. I never shave. I just use like a trimmer. So I've been doing it for probably like 15 years. And I rarely shave. But I can't find the cord to my to charge it, so it's dead. So I took my wife's chick whatever leg shaver and just was like, I don't care. I'm feeling scruffy, and I just went to town on it. So,
do, do you know how much of a man I am? I actually use a straight razor.
oh really? Yeah, I
Hmm.
can't do that.
Like the
I mean,
actual straight razor, yeah.
when I go to my barber, I get that like lined up and everything, but that's
Not
about
that you can tell right now because I'm a freaking mess. Like I said,
it.
I'm shirtless 8 minutes before this thing kicks off. I need
Man,
to really start.
I
What is
look
going on with my
so
green screen?
I
Why
don't
is
know,
my
but
green screen doing this?
without facial hair though, the contrast for my face and my like, man, you can tell it's starting to get like wintertime up here in the north. I'm starting to
Oh
get
yeah, yeah,
pasty,
very,
man.
very pale. Give
I,
me 1 second while I try to fix this damn green screen. You know what? So you can still move around. You know what? Fuck it. Fuck it. We're
freeze.
going live. Speaking of going live,
Oh man, remember those days?
oh yeah,
30 minutes after, get
oh
set up
yeah.
real quick,
I
have a
used to
power
love going
ranking ready to
live.
go.
Why did we stop
I,
going live?
just because
Too many technical issues is what it was.
it was that, but also, I mean, I feel like there was also that kind of divide of like we had like some special project and it made the others kind of feel like there's waiting for us and everything. And but it was
Yeah,
kind of cool just to do a power ranking on its own.
it was. Um, Moving on. I had an interesting week. I was
I could have.
attacked by Laurel fans this week.
Ooh, well, here's the thing. You don't have to worry about that because Laurel doesn't care about people that don't like her. It's like that's been she's posted this stuff. It's very evident. And
Well,
so I don't know why anybody would want to kind of like Laurel's already said like who cares about you? Pretty much. So it's
pretty
like
much.
why are we battling over this? And it is all over Facebook as well and Twitter that I've seen. Yeah, I guess I just called myself old by saying Facebook, right? Didn't I? But it's everywhere. Like I've seen some people that are like, who cares if she quit or she didn't quit or anything. Carr came out and said she didn't quit. Like she did the thing until she couldn't do it anymore and didn't want to compete anymore and was over because couldn't figure out. I mean, here's the thing. We talk about this. This happened on USA One. Remember we had Tyson from Survivor and his
Hmm.
hands were frozen and he didn't know how to do Sudoku. And then all of a sudden they're like, you're wrong. And there was no timer. There should have been. There was no timer. And he's like, well, I'm done then because my hands are frozen. I can't figure this out. I'm not going to sit here for hours to wait for Sarah all the way at the very bottom of the hill to finally get up here. So I'm not on the band. I'm on the other side of like, nah, but let's go and talk about how you've been attacked. Just
Well,
elaborate.
yeah. So the first interaction was actually kind of okay. Okay, so I put out a tweet, which was, and I don't care what anybody says, because this is fact. It's like a Snapple fact. If you open up Snapple, it'll say this.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I put out this tweet. The tweet was fucking funny. I don't care what anybody says. It was funny. Tweet said, it's a picture of Laurel and her veterinary thing, and it just says, I heard Laurel became a vet so she could put animals down.
Oh
Ha
my
ha ha
God.
ha ha.
Oh
It's
my God.
funny. It's
It's dark humor. It's definitely dark humor. But yeah.
but it was funny. It was funny. Now, check this out. And I put up this tweet. I did not think that any reasonable person would think that this is true. A reasonable person would know I'm just kind of shit talking. And here's the funny thing is, I don't even hate Laurel. I don't. Yes, she's going against my girl this season. It doesn't make me hate Laurel or everything she's done. First interaction was kind of okay. Basically, somebody was just like, you know, what? Why would you joke about that? That's not funny. Just making stuff up. I was like, well, yeah, of course I'm making it up. I don't think anybody like really thinks that like she's out here hurting animals. And she goes, well, if you didn't tell me a joke, I wouldn't know. So
Maybe oh you put a disclaimer? Okay, that says
I
enough.
put a disclaimer. And the disclaimer said, quick disclaimer, there's no evidence that Laura has harmed any animal ever. This is just a joke. and not an attack on Laurel's character or professionalism. 'Cause I would hate to put something out there that like might affect somebody's real life or job or something
Right,
like that.
right.
So the disclaimer was fine, and the person who said that was cool. Now, normally when somebody tells me to do something, I'll tell them what they. But this person wasn't disrespectful. They wasn't mean. They, I thought it
Growth.
was reason. I thought they were reasonable. No reason to crash out, right?
Here's the thing. Maybe if you would have made it more challenge relatable, like Laurel when she's been working on an animal for hours. I'm tired. This is hell. I don't want to do this anymore. I quit. Like that would have been that would have been
That's a
exactly
good
that.
one.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna have to save that for another one. But and that was it. That was the end of the contact between me and that person, and that was fine. The next two, even funnier. One guy was Lenny for TV, just quotes, he just says, "You're so gross," with a throw up face. And so then I have a quick response for that. I just put a picture of a compass and said, "This is a magic compass." Use it to go find a boom, zing. Moving on to the next one. And the other guy, what's his name? Coach Brown or Coach Jerry? Some shit. I don't even know what he coaches. Anyway, he got all pissy about, oh, it was a shit joke. Let me tell you something. God, you over 30 bald-headed podcasters, just shut the up. Shut all the way the up. Go find a to suck. Shut the up. Shut the up with your little ass podcast. Listen, I'm not going to sit here and just say like, we have the greatest podcast. Shit, we're barely one of the bigger challenge podcasts. But I swear to God, if that little joke has sent you to such a tizzy, go find a to suck and just shut the up all the way the up. You know what I care about their opinions? Less than nothing. You don't even follow me or listen to the podcast. I definitely give less of a At least sometimes if a listener has some shit to say, I'd be like, at least you listen to us and give us your time. The least I can do is listen back if you have a suggestion or something you don't like. I remember a creator called me out, which is like, "Hey Malik, we love the podcast, but you got to stop calling women bitches." Like, and I stopped. Here goes an interesting statistic I found out about analytics. Ready to hear this? 55% of our listeners are women. Shout out to the ladies. Shout out to all the ladies. Listen, love what you. And also, it makes sense because look at us.
Stop.
How do wait? No. Tyler, look, no, look directly into the camera. Look.
No.
Look at us, man. No. Look at me. Look at us.
Yeah.
Look at us.
I'm like, yeah. It was Antonio. Right. That's what it was.
All right,
everybody saw those gray sweatpants, so we all know.
Yo, big shout out to Antonio. I know he's out there in New York doing this thing. We miss you, buddy. Let's go ahead and kick this episode off. What's really good, pot stirrers? Welcome to another episode of I know my daughter did not just text me.
Impeccable timing.
Asking me for a favor, which I will agree to, and then make her feel bad about it later. Like any good dad would do. All right. What's really good, pot stars? Welcome to another episode of Love, War, Challenges. I am MTV Malik. He is Tyler Lotto. What's really good? Gang, 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 gang. And listen, real quick. Yo, I've been chilling. I've really been chilling. I was very reckless, especially when I first started, but for the most part, I've been pretty chill. I've made peace and is even friends with a lot of the podcasters that, we had arguments with. And, it was a different time back then. It was a different time. All of us is kind of grown. We all want to see each other grow. So if you do find out who these people are, don't go bashing them or don't go say anything bad about their podcast. Let people be. Just words on Twitter. So
the big thing is that everybody here just really, they're highlighting and talking about something that we all love to watch and enjoy. And I feel like the more of this, the better. If we can just get like MTV and Bynum and Murray on that same board of like, hey, we are doing free advertising for you. All of us are. Let us have free reign to just do our thing.
They do not like us.
I mean, let's. You know what? I really want to know. Let's look at. I really want to know.
I really want to infringe on the intellectual property. That's really what I want to do.
To be honest, yeah. Same, and it's kind of annoying that we don't, because let's go to popular, and I'm sitting here looking at 318,000 views on the biggest bands that we have here. That's
Wait, how
318,000
many?
318,000
Damn, we should
people.
do a follow up.
Probably should. But those are people that have seen our video over the course of 3 years, because that those numbers didn't exist in like a month. Like we weren't
Yeah,
producing.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
We put that video out before we had 1,000 subscribers, and
That was a
it's
marathon.
yeah, and it's crazy that these type of things, like if I was a producer on the challenge and I was MTV or CBS and everything, I would say, hey, do as many things as you guys can for the show. Even like when like they were dogging on the show, you're still talking about the show. You're still advertising for the show. And if there's anything that mega rich people love, it's continuing to get rich without spending any money. If we're being real. So Amazon sells itself. It's simple as that. He doesn't got to do anything. But those things we really should, and we could revisit some of these things. And but it's crazy that there is this whole divide of like, no, we can't. But no, it's like everybody talk about the show. We all
Well,
love
here
the
goes the
show.
funny thing is MTV, there are creators out there that MTV does like. And they will give them
Yeah.
episodes early, they'll give them access to challengers for interviews. So we just don't fall into that liked by MTV category, with no shade being thrown to the creators that are liked by MTV. More
Oh
power
no
to
no
you.
no no. And it's what sucks about it, though, is that, I mean, no offense to anybody else, but I mean I've seen a lot of like top 10 videos and stuff like that and everything. And there is a complete there's a tier gap. I really believe. I
Yeah,
believe that whenever we are able to produce something, we produce something really well. When we put, time and effort into it and everything, scripts are good, lists are good. Our flow is good back and forth and everything. And so it
I think
sucks
we
that
do a
we
good job too.
can't.
Look at you tooting your own
Yeah.
horn.
I'm just, but I'm being honest, because like I see a lot of these. I see a lot of other podcast stuff, and it's totally fine. Do how your own thing, but it's just like a bunch of squares and blank, and you know what I mean? It's like make yourself big. Like you're the show. Make yourself big. I see people doing like top tens, and it's like really
Oh,
slow
I
pace
love
of
that you said
talking.
that. I love that you said that.
For real though, I mean, like if you're the one
You're the
talking about the
show.
show.
You're the whole
Yeah,
effing show. Remember RVD, the whole
yeah.
effing show.
He was just on. Yeah, they performed back in ECW's 2300 arena that NXT did a couple weeks ago.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, and he was back there. A bunch of legends were there, but
RVD.
oh
Oh,
yeah.
his WWE run. Oh God, his title run should have been so much longer. So much longer. Him and Sabu got caught with weed in the car, and he had to
Hmm.
drop the title. Fucking shame, because at one point in time, RVD was the best wrestler in the world. He was at one point in time. He was the Shawn Michaels of the time, the
Peak
Kenny Omega of the
popularity.
time. What's the name of the new British guy who's always in AEW? I forget his name.
People
Will
like
Ospreay.
Will. Yeah.
Yeah. At
Well,
one time, that was RVD. Oh wait. What was it?
I mean, here's my thing, and we can have a wrestling talk any other time, but I think minor league wrestling is being best at that is great, but unless you're in the WWE, I do think there is a divide. And another AEW stands out there, but it is to me the NFL versus Division One college football. You have diehards that are going to live and die for it, but it is still a step below.
Yeah, and status, skill wise, a lot of those AEW people can more than hold their own on the mic and in the ring when it comes to WWE.
Why do you see college athletes doing things NFL athletes don't ever do? Because they're trying to make a name for themselves to
No,
get up to
no,
the
no,
next
no.
level.
Let's get
No, no,
off of
no, no,
this.
no, no.
Let's get off of this because we're just gonna argue.
We
I
are.
can tell right
We
now.
are.
We're gonna argue, but let's argue about the challenge.
So let's,
All right,
this is a great
come.
episode. Let's go ahead and dive into it.
It is a great episode. Only I feel like some of the peripherals was kind of lacking. Like last time we got a whole lot of drama. We did get a lot of drama here, but it was a little bit less intense. Starting off, Bananas comes back. He just won elimination. He's feeling all good. And he immediately comes in and stirs up shit between Josh and Michelle. I know Bananas can come off childish. It comes off as immature. This was one of the smartest things he could have done. There's already a small divide. I mean, don't get me wrong, Michelle called it up because she sees it, but it's
Mhm.
working. It's working. And also, I don't believe Josh was wrong in feeling the way he did about Michelle being mad about him voting for Bananas. Come on, you already know what time it is. You got friends on multiple sides. Like, it shouldn't have been nothing. She should have shut up. And I think Josh was right.
And this is where we're going to talk about here, maybe in a little bit, about actually why Corey's game isn't a bad game. Instead of like early on, there's so many of you. I mean, we saw it with Michelle when she made picked targets at the end of this. She ran out of options, and she had to go against somebody that is supposedly supposed to be working with her. Well, Josh and Michelle have too many options. And eventually those numbers get taken down, but orders keep shifting and people start realizing the order. When we get to the end, that's when you really like when there's 20 people there, you don't care if you're number 5 on somebody's list
Right.
because you're ahead of 5 guys. So it's like whatever. Um, but when we get lower, we see this. And so like when we talk about Corey, we see him talking to Cara a little later. But Corey is pretty much like, I got nobody's back. Like, oh, you need me to have your back? Okay, I got your back, you got mine. And it's just like one person, 2 people. And then when they're gone, it's like, I have room. Who wants me? Like, I'm a free agent. You can sign me to
And
this deal.
and
And it
also good
works.
timing too.
Well, think about in the past. I mean, go back 10 seasons, 30-30. Corey's like, I want him. I want him. I want him. I want them all gone. That's what I want. That's my hit list. And now they're all like, well, now we're coming for you. He's like,
Yeah.
these are my guys. I want them to get to the final and I want them to get eliminated. Well, now he's like, I'm just here.
Just chilling. Hey, you know what though? It's good to see him learn. Good to see him evolve. I said it a lot of times. It's disheartening to see Corey so many times in a situation where he's just like, I don't know where I stand with everybody. I don't know where I stand in this alliance. I don't. And other people are putting in alliances around you. I really think Corey needs to step into more of a leadership position. He's likable. He competes pretty well. I just don't get it. I expect so much more out of him. Besides that and some backstory stuff, not a whole lot going on in the A block. Let's go ahead and move on to the daily. Today's daily is called 40-yard dash. Oh, also, I know we was talking the other day about how like I never come up with the title of the episode up until like it's time to type in what's going to be the title of the episode.
Yeah.
And this is for the first time in almost 200 episodes. Like, what episode number is this? Like 194, something like that?
Oh
193?
gosh. I
I
don't
know,
even
right? We've been
know.
here for a while.
I don't even
Um,
know.
I was like, I already know what the name of this episode is going to be. Best Foot Forward.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
like
yeah.
it. Yeah,
Easy,
there you
easy.
go.
Just wanted to throw that in. Today's daily is called 40-yard dash. Basically, there's a big 40 carved into the ground, and everybody has to grab 6 puzzle pieces and do an obstacle course. I like this daily, but there's
It's a really good daily. It's an equalizer because it's a make your own path. Do you follow somebody? Is there we saw when they were crawling under the rope or the rope like web, the net to grab
yeah,
theirs. If you got there first, you only had to crawl like 2 feet. If you were the last person there, you had to crawl halfway across the thing, like 20 feet. So I like that it's like you get to kind of pick your poison, you know. Real quick, before we dive into what they did, like let's talk about it. Like I was thinking about this. You show up on this daily, you see where the layout kind of is, you kind of see everything, and you know you got to get X amount of puzzle pieces. What do you do? Do you take the quickest one first just to kind of build momentum, or do you go the farthest distance to make it shorter on your way back? What would you
I'm the type of person to go for the further distance and work my way back. I actually do that at my job now. My job requires a lot of driving and a lot of moving around and a whole lot of gas. So normally what I'll do is I'll plot my day out on exactly how I want it to run. Granted, shit happens. I have a very dynamic position where, some changes are made, but usually I will plan to hit the furthest thing first and then work my way back. So that way when it's time to go home, I only got a 20-30 minute ride home. Because if I have to ride out from the island, that's 50 minutes. And plus, once the traffic hits, like where I live, the traffic is just terrible, terrible, terrible. It's a
do?
huge junction where a lot of major highways meet, and it's just a pain in the butt. So I'm also the type of person, I'm right-handed. So if I'm clipping my fingernails, I do the right hand first. I like to get the hard stuff out of the way first.
Okay, yep. I think that makes sense and it's fair. I do think that another thing we didn't see, we only kind of saw a couple do it, but everybody was like, "Oh, look, it's muddy. I'm gonna run right through the middle where it's softest and the deepest point." Like, and Jordan was like running on like the walls on the
Oh
side.
yeah, so
The
they're doing
sides
a
are
little
always
parkour.
easier. Well, that, but also if the whole thing is muddy, we saw this on War of the Worlds. And we've seen it on, oh my gosh, I'm trying to think of all these. We saw it on
We just seen it on the last one,
Gauntlet
Battle
3,
for a New Champion
Battle
too.
for New Champion. We've seen this a lot where they have to like run through mud to get a ball type thing. Normally it's just that. But people
Save the
that go
mud
on
for
the
last.
side, so people like, well, that, but people that go on the side, it's always easier to walk on it because you have kind of a hill. Um, yeah, but I mean, overall, I love that there was different strategies of there are people that were like, all right, I'm gonna go by my own. I'm gonna pair up. There's Jordan was tailing bananas, just kind of drifting behind him and then passing him on the way back type thing.
Yeah,
I love all the
definitely love
different
the way that played
strategies.
out. I did have something that bothered me, and I don't know if it's really legit or not.
Okay, what's up?
It bought I don't know. It's weird. It's just something that popped in my head. It's like, digging out that big 4-0 in the trench probably took a lot of time and a lot of hard work. I assume that there's some heavy machinery, but I'm just kept thinking, I was just like, it probably took them longer to build that obstacle course than it is to run it.
Probably, well, probably, but they probably call like one company and they come on in and they're like, hey, we just need this in the ground. And they just scoop it out.
Why does that bother me though?
I was thinking
It-
about
it-
this too today about how long like that contraption for the elimination probably took to set up.
yeah, why? I don't know. I don't know why it bothers me. I'm just like, you guys spent so much time building this
People,
trench.
but people are getting paid to be on the
People are
show,
getting paid. Yeah,
to work for the show. It's like, you know what? Good for them. Good for they get to
you know,
travel the country to different locations every season, build contraptions. Cool. Yeah.
it almost reminds me of you ever seen Clerks by Kevin Smith?
Like maybe like 20 years ago.
One of my favorite movies in the whole
Yeah.
wide world. But one of the things is they talk about they have, because they have these stupid like meta nerd arguments, right? One of the arguments was like in Return of the Jedi. There's like, they blew up the second Death Star. But they're just like,
Mhm.
yeah, it wasn't packed with full of, imperial fascists. It's probably packed with a bunch of construction workers and plumbers and guys doing water mains and stuff. So, they get a whole argument about that. I don't know. I guess I'm really interested in the logistics of the challenge.
I mean, they probably hired certain maybe people in the countries they're in, and it's cheaper because the conversion rate is better. So um, we
We've been watching this
see,
show for too long, man.
yeah, we see though. Survivor has been in Fiji for like I forget how long. It's been like 12 seasons. It's been a long time. It's just stayed in Fiji now because it's just more practical. And so they have these locations kind of already like ready to go. They kind of just like change them a little bit, but they're all kind of the same, and they just rebuild some of the things they already have. But the challenge, yeah, I mean, they're think of the logistics of finding the materials there and then getting all the material. I mean, that's got to be the hardest part. Is like, okay, we're here in Vietnam. How do we build everything? Who do we go through? There's probably more that goes on behind the scenes than we think of. Just like, yeah,
I would love to see it.
just call 40 people, get TJ, and then they'll do things. Like, it's
If only. So back to the daily. We're talking about strategies. You know, Jordan comes out with the W, Corey comes out with the W, which is just amazing. Very few times do we ever feel like the best people are winning these dailies,
Mhm.
and I feel like this was an instance of that. Um, Jordan had this strategy of kind of shadowing bananas until he made his moment. I believe Kara just how did Kara approach it?
She was working with Olivia,
She
and
was working with Olivia.
and they were getting pieces together to kind of help out and taking turns and everything.
Two very different strategies. Which one do you think was the best?
I mean, pairing up with somebody always works. Like, I feel like I just would pair up with somebody because if I'm dragging a little bit, I can see them in front of me, like pushing further, and I know they have the same amount as me, but yet they're ahead of me. I can push myself. Um, and then also if I get somewhere where it's difficult to do something, I have somebody to help me out there. So that's probably where I would have went, and then just been like, let's get to the puzzle together and let's both solve it. And I'm gonna, if you're faster at the puzzle than me, I'm gonna look over and I'll get second place. Like let me see exactly what you do. So that's, I mean, kind of what I would have done.
Absolutely. Before we move on from this daily, is there any parts of the daily that you absolutely loved, that you hated? Any moments that stuck out to you?
It's just like it's a great daily where the fact that it's doing something physical that nobody really knows the exact proper way to do it. So it's just trial and error. But then also there's a puzzle of an equalizer, which we saw for some reason people thought, hey, if I just lay all the pieces on the ground and put two of them against each other, that's a triangle. Like for some reason. But there was like 5, 6 times where they were like, check. And I'm sitting there and I'm just like,
That
guys,
was
they
hilarious.
lay on each other. This has been a Survivor puzzle for like 10, 15 years. They do this all the time in Survivor. Why are you guys struggling here? It's like this is
You know,
like very, and this is not even Survivor. This is like a common. You could buy this puzzle. You could buy these little. They're like mini puzzles. You can buy them and just do them on your own. I don't know why people do that already in the off season.
our practice Sudoku. Like some of these things, Tentagram, Sudoku. matching games. These are things that should probably be worked on. Just like,
Sliders.
yeah, just like CrossFit and marathon running.
There's a guy that was on Survivor a couple seasons ago. I think it was like 3 seasons now, and he made it to Final Four. But he was a huge fan of the show, and he 3D printed like almost every puzzle that they have really done in like the history that is like consistently done. And then he printed them, and then he did them himself to train before he got on Survivor. And like a bunch of them. So when he got on there, and he was fantastic when he got on the show at fixing puzzles. Like he just kind of knew, nope, I already know this goes here, this goes here. I know how this works. So pretty smart.
Yeah, that's kind of awesome. Moving on, something very interesting happens on the bus. Now, this episode has already gone on with a big feet thing kind of thing, which was really weird. They really got into the feet stuff. Um, and
Just weird. Some like
it's
feet are
just weird.
gross.
Also, the fact that I mean, outside a couple of comments, there's really not the feet thing really didn't have any purpose. It didn't really do anything besides building camaraderie with other people with feet. I don't know. It was really weird. I spent a lot of time on it.
I mean, it's just
On the
kind of funny
bus.
because some of the parties just kind of moved and there's new faces. But I mean, this is exactly Bloodlines, is it not?
Oh yeah, yeah. We seen a feet thing
With
there.
Kara, and well, I'm just saying Kara and Bananas and everything, and then Bananas is on the bus and is like, "Do you want him to find out down the road and watching this and everything, or find out right now about you and Thomas and everything?" And it's like, and now Kara's sitting there, and then all of a sudden Bananas like, "How dare you accuse?" Now, granted, I don't want Aviv to. She's put in a situation she shouldn't be on, which is probably why Aviv hasn't been back for so long, is because of this drama. It was an unnecessary shot. It didn't seem like nothing, but Bananas just went in.
Yes. So
Oh
a couple
my.
of things behind that. Couple of things behind that. First off, the whole foot toucher thing was not really even. It wasn't even really a thing, and Michelle was wrong to bring that up. Also, because my wife was watching and had interesting. My wife was watching, and she also had a lot of questions about why this is happening and how it happened, and it was for a couple of reasons. One of the things is Aviv is married with children, so
Mhm.
we seen this happen earlier with Laurel when Laurel kind of said something. Everybody's like, "Whoa, whoa, 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 whoa! What are you doing?" Like, you know, um, who explained it? I think Rachel explained it pretty well. Like, hey, this is a challenge house. Some of us are going to be very close, and some of us rub on each other and this kind of stuff and take care of each other. I think it's kind of one of those unspoken challenge things where, like, hey, we all kind of take care of each other. We know not to blow this section of our house lives out of proportion. Because I'm sure people back home, you hear shit on Twitter all the time. We hear about people cheated. Like, I remember with Tony and Camilla, we heard about that stuff the day it happened.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
and by the
absolutely.
time he got his phone call, she was like, "I'm already reading on Twitter. You're hooking up with this Camilla girl,"
Which is
and he
all
was,
because, and it's all because of, and this is why I don't like these spoiler accounts and everything, because it doesn't, it just creates this whole, I don't know, it creates this weird thing. Hey, I don't like people doing it in the first place. They shouldn't even be in those situations. Like, just don't be in that situation.
"Yeah, there's
Um,
that."
but yeah, it's not why I watched the show. I'm not entertained by it, but because we had no chambers, that cut out like a segment of today's episode. So I had to fill it. And this whole like bus ride, we never see the bus ever. And the
We do
bus,
sometimes, and
the
sometimes it's really entertaining.
yeah, but I mean, over 40 seasons, we've seen the bus maybe what, like 40 times,
Yeah,
maybe. And it seems like it was just to fill time. This honestly felt like a deleted scenes behind the scenes. Let's review it at the reunion type thing, is what it felt like.
but also I felt because the episode probably needed it, and the fact that it was relevant with everything that was going on with the fee and Bananas Angels and stuff. I do felt like it was reasonable to include this time around,
Yeah, I mean,
which normally is not.
yeah.
And normally we call it out for what it is. Like, you guys are just filling in time, but it does make sense.
Michelle's playing a game on this though. It's a strategic move. It could create a divide where it makes Aviv and less comfortable around Bananas because she has a real life situation and everything. She has a family and is like, okay, well, if you're seeing it this way, then I should cut ties because maybe others will see it this way. I mean, it's a dirty tactic, but it is a game move, one that we have seen bananas use before.
100%. It's a game tactic. Give me 2 seconds. I just gotta take care of something. Man, I really, really hope I remember to cut this out.
One thing we should, I want to give credit to, um, let me see. I wonder if there's a challenge group that I'm in. Oh, on Facebook, and they have, I don't know if it's Challenge Unfiltered or something else. It might be. But somebody does this like voting game on Facebook for the challenge, and I think it's fantastic. And it's a great way to keep fans like interactive and everything. They create a game, create a concept, and you vote people out on the comments. And then those people go into elimination right now against mercenaries. And then you vote if that mercenary takes out the challenger, if the challenger survives. And it's a really cool thing. I wish I could, I can't find it right now.
I've seen stuff like that a
Yeah,
couple of times, and I've seen like some of them go into like different apps where they kind of play these games. I poked my head into a couple. A lot of them do seem really, really interesting. I don't really have the time frame for it,
it's in
but
challenge talk is what it's in.
challenge talk. I have hardly ever been. I've barely been on Facebook and the challenge groups there. Not that they aren't amazing, especially the challenge unbothered Facebook group and podcast. You guys are fucking beating heart and soul of the challenge community. So big shout out to y'all. But yeah, when you do find it, send it to me, and we'll see if we can form some content around it. Might be something really fun to do.
Oh, and I just saw Cam and Leroy just landed a Target brand deal. Good for them.
Very good for them. Hey, whatever works. Um, Moving on, we do see the Corey and Cara link. Corey wanted to take Theo's spot. It's good to see Corey um being a bit more strategic. It's like we've seen him do strategic moves before, but they hardly ever plan out. So how do you think this is going to end up for Corey? I do think this is probably the best deal that either one of these people can make for Corey and Cara.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is that for Corey, it's like his game. He doesn't ever seem to like really have like a good foothold on the game when he's being super aggressive. But when he's kind of just like laying in the middle or laying low, he makes it far. Now we saw this on like Total Madness. We've seen this on Double Agents. Like he has lots of seasons where he just kind of has other people around him, kind of floats a little bit, and he does better than the seasons where he's super aggressive, says he's going to come for people. I mean, the trilogy seasons were not good for him between Dirty 30 and
And they should have
Vendettas.
been. They should have been.
They should have been, yeah. Especially because they were all like there was so many individual stuff, and he's good at a lot of things.
He should have gotten a win in one of those.
Mhm.
It would have made sense. Would have made sense. But moving on, we do see a scene where Aviv confronts Olivia for her comments on the bus. Now, of course, oh, not Olivia, Michelle. Now, of course, Michelle apologizes because she knows that, she kind of crossed the line a little bit. But here goes something that I loved. I love that Aviv didn't run around the house with an attitude, talking shit. She took her issue directly to Michelle, explained why she was wrong, explained why she felt, and they dealt with it. In reality, people being adults and handling things like adults in a mature manner shouldn't be so bewildering for us. But since this is a challenge, this is not, you know, this is not the rule, but the exception. But I thought she was a real class act for that, and I thought there was no better way to handle it than how she did,
Yeah, yeah.
which was a little bit more interesting to talk about besides that. But hey, thanks for being a grown adult who's with fully functional emotional spectrum and behaving as such. Congratulations, you're 40 and behave like it.
I don't know who's. I don't know. I don't know if anybody's 40 on this.
No,
That's
Aviv
he.
should be
Well,
40, right?
oh, maybe I can find out. Give me a second. I can find out. I literally can pull it up
And
right.
mind you, if she is 40, she looks amazing for 40 and incredibly fit.
She is 40. She is
Oh, right
40.
on the money. Uh, hold on a second.
Okay. I just
Just,
forget it's just like weird that I'm younger than challengers still. Like it just seems weird.
I am on a work crew where I'm the youngest person on the work crew.
Oh, Bananas is 42.
Yeah,
Oh, you know what's crazy? Bananas is 3 years. 'Cause I just looked at this. So I saw Wes's. Bananas is 3 years older than Wes, yet was on after Wes on both Real World and the Challenge.
interesting.
Wes was like 19 when he went to on Austin, I think, which is crazy because like Nehemiah was 18. Like I'm pretty sure they were at the bars all the time.
I think because of where they're at, because back then you still had some places where the drink you had to be it was 18 and over.
In Austin,
Sure,
Texas, in like the
that
early 2000s.
yeah, that makes sense.
I guess yeah.
Actually, that's
You know what's even more crazy? Bananas is older than Rachel
that is funny.
because Rachel. Oh my gosh, that's crazy. Because I feel like Rachel did 4 seasons of the challenge before Bananas was on the Real World.
What year did Austin come out? I want to say
Austin came out
2003,
2004.
2004.
2004, 2005. I think it would have been filmed in 2004. I just remember I was in high school.
Oh,
I was
you
in
know
high
what?
school when it happened.
So the legal drinking age in Texas has been 21 since 1986.
Mm-hmm.
Listen,
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to sit here and rat nobody out. So we'll
Unless
just
they
go ahead.
weren't unless they weren't drinking. But that's the crazy thing, right? Like they were casting people that weren't 21. I always thought that was odd. Like when you do like if when you did like Real World Paris or St. Thomas, like sure, cast 18-year-olds, but like otherwise, what are you doing?
Yeah,
I remember I thought I was like I should be I should try to get on the Real World. Like I'll be 21 in October. They'll be casting right now, and I think it would have been like Real World Brooklyn, and I was like, yeah, I was
it's a great season.
21 in Brooklyn. I'll be there. It's a pretty good season, yeah. But then I just didn't even attempt everything. So, but I thought
So
that would have been cool. Like turning 21 on the Real World would have been.
I forget what year it was. I did I did go to one of the casting things that was in San Francisco. Uh I was told to send in so I did that. I got a phone call and I was told to send in a video
Mhm.
for which I did, and I just never heard back. That was the closest I came. And I was really excited. But also, I kind of stopped pursuing it because I realized I am by no way or means cut out for reality TV.
Well, you also have a more difficult challenge being a black male. Like you're in like, all right, only one black male
Yeah,
can be on
yeah,
this
there's that.
season. Like if that's like it's a very hard like you're in a demographic of where they didn't even think about that back then. Where now we're seeing POC being like a number. It's like we need to have this percentage of POC representation on these shows. Like Survivor is very big on like it's almost like 50-50 because it used to be back in the day like 2 of 18. it's like it's
Yeah.
like that's how's that proper representation
And
of
even with
anybody?
Big Brother, even now we're just now starting to really get, non-white people winning. So hey, more
Hmm.
power to that. I would have been terrible for reality TV, especially back then. I would have been kicked off very soon for punching people in the face. That was an age I loved bar fighting. I just thought that was the greatest stuff to do in the world. Very terrible, and had very limited emotional growth back then. So I would have been terrible. But
I'm gonna say this: I'm not really good at like understanding or knowing if people are like a POC or not in some instances, but I'm pretty sure this season we have 18 of the 40 are a
I
person of
have
color.
not even counted. And in reality, that's
I
not
just know I
the
just
worst
counted right
demographic.
now. I have the list right here, so
That reminds me, I had to make an emergency phone call to a friend, and I had to ask him because I've been challenged on Twitter before. I mean, I've been canceled on Twitter before, and don't want that to happen again. And I had to ask him a question because I wanted to say something, and I wanted to say it to be funny, but I didn't want to take it the wrong way. And basically, it was just like, "Hey, is it okay to ask somebody, hey, what ethnicity are you? Because I want to call you a slur and don't want to misidentify you." And I decided not to post that because it probably would not have gone over well. Of course, I'm joking. At the same time, this is a day and
Man,
age where you got to explain some jokes, and if you have to explain it, then the joke is over.
I'm not gonna lie. Like, if we would have been like friends when we were in like in our early 20s and going out and everything,
You would have
you
hated
probably
me.
no, 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 no. I'm saying we're friends. Like, we're already past that. Like, we're in a group together. You probably would have gotten a lot of situations because of me. So, I uh
Really?
I used to this is
You're so
okay. Well,
mild mannered, so
we're doing
fucking Clark Kent like.
we're doing a sidebar for a second. We'll get back on the challenge real quick. But I used to love doing this thing in college where I wanted to convince people to kind of fight me, and then I wanted to see if I could talk my way out of it
That's a
and seeing if
dangerous
I
game,
had
man.
and I got really good at it, but it got kind of dangerous because I got too confident at it and everything. But there was one time where this guy was trying to like hit on one of my friends that clearly wasn't like into it. We're like at a house party. And I remember we were playing a card game and you had to like lay cards to get points, or whatever. And I had like a whole like five in a row. And every card I laid, I just like said something about him and everything. And he looked at me, reached across the table, grabbed me by my shirt, and somebody was getting a video of it. So I was like, watch this, this will be funny. And as he grabbed me and everything, um, I didn't really know, but I kind of sensed it and felt it. And I was like, hey man, here's what we can do. You can totally punch me because I was kind of rude and I totally get it. But you're also talking to her and she doesn't like it. But if you punch me, I know a lot of people here, they might end up beating you up and you might end up losing by the
Oh
end of
my
the
God,
night.
you one of those guys?
And I said, no, no, I said, I can't control what other people do, but if you want to hit me, I totally understand it. I deserve it. And he pushed me and was like, you're not worth it. And you walked away. Well, anyways, the video, when he pulled me, like seven people stood up and turned towards me. I didn't realize that many people like had my back. I just said that. I didn't even know
Oh
if anybody would defend me. I was just like, no, man, I know I
no,
didn't
I
know. Like,
I understand it 100% because I also had a lot of friends who knew that just my presence being there, they could kind of get away with a whole lot. And the person who utilized that the most was my little sister.
yeah.
She knew that. She said she ran around. I could say and do whatever I want because Malik is right behind me, and he'll he'll run rip shit right through this whole place if absolutely necessary.
Let me
It
just
wasn't
say, it wasn't just anybody. It was like if people were doing stuff that I thought was like they're being assholes. I
like
was
yeah,
like,
they had it coming.
I'm gonna target you. Yeah. Like if they were being rude to everybody, that's who it was. It wasn't just like some random person just like having a good night. I'm like, I'm gonna ruin their night. No, I didn't. No.
Fuck your night.
It was just like, oh, okay, all right. You know what? You're gonna get some karma right now. Like we're gonna like, oh, you think you're this big tough dude? Okay, let's see.
You know what? I was the type to always back my friends up publicly, but in private, I would get on them. Like, don't ever do that.
Yeah.
Like I'm scared of jail. I don't care how big I am. I don't want to go to jail. There's consequences for shit out here these days, and I'm not trying to get it. And if you're gonna get me into some shit, you better at least be able to stand up for their own. Because a lot of people got away with that. Just because I'm there, they know they can do and say things or whatever. Because you know, I can slam 4 or 5 people and knock 3 people out before this thing even really gets started.
If I'm being honest, it plays to my, this is why I always thought I could do okay in the challenge because it plays to my social game. That I always have people that are just like, no, that's don't mess with him and everything. But let's get back to the show. I'm sure this sidebar is a quick little tap on your YouTube
Oh,
on your
please,
phone to
no,
skip forward.
we're running through this whole episode. It's fine.
Yeah,
Also, guys, de escalation. 9 times out of 10, it's not going to be worth it. De escalate.
yeah,
De escalate.
that was my
Because,
point. My point was the power of words.
yeah. Use your words. So, moving on, we get to the elimination. There is no kind of chamber because Olivia lost. I'm sorry. Um, can you
Michelle.
explain it for me? Thank you. Thank you. I'm fucking word
Michelle
salad right
lost.
now.
Cara won. Olivia's the only one available. Jordan picked the best daily to win because of the situation. Because realistically, he's probably a target if he doesn't win over Corey and Derek for sure.
You know, Jordan is known to be an elimination beast, a final beast. He's a beast in a lot of things. Nobody really thinks of him as really being very strategic. And that's because he plays a very understated strategic game. I think his strategy is to appear like it's not strategy.
He's not
He does
loud about his game. He's not
exactly.
loud.
And I said that earlier. I said he loves to play like he's not into politics at all. but he does find his hand in politics, and usually he places himself in a position to make it seem like it's somebody else's idea, and he just fits right in. It's really kind of masterful, and I've been saying that about Rachel's game this season too, how she's been playing a masterful lone wolf game, one of the best we've ever seen. But moving on, today's elimination is called Stranded. You get basically a bunch of rings. They turn these into big DNA strands, and then you got to grab different size rungs and build a ladder. On paper, absolutely loved it. And then you got to cap it off with a puzzle. You got to put the rungs in, climb to the top, drop a bag with your puzzle pieces in it, and plug the puzzle. Um,
Today was very Survivor-esque. I'm going to tell you this right now. There are so many times where they do things where it's like collect puzzle pieces, make a triangle. Hey, all these little pieces, they will make a ladder and they will paint a picture for you. You got to do it. Oh, a three-word puzzle. Like those are three very, very common Survivor things that they have in their
you know what?
competitions.
Why not? I mean, don't get me wrong. I will always think the challenge is a superior show, but Survivor has been around forever for a
They,
reason, and it
they,
has
they
been
should work
popular,
together.
and
Yeah.
they should. Um, it's funny because Corey put out a post about this, about like what would you like to see for the challenge going forward, and she said, I would love to see challengers on other shows. She like, I believe we bring a lot to it, but she was like, I would love to see a challenge season where the fans get involved. Bring 100 fans in and let them run a combine, and let challengers pick the best of the challenge fans, and you guys could run the show with us. I thought that was really interesting. I also think that it speaks to the kind of challenger she is. That like one of the first thing that comes out, if you could run a challenge show, what would you do? I'll fold the fans in. I mean,
I mean, really, you just started off like a Squid Games type purge, where
yeah,
you just like go from 100 to 50, 50 to 25, 25 to 12, and
yep.
that's who's on. Like, and I'd be
I
like, yeah,
love the combine idea because we saw that when they did fresh meat,
that's
and
all it was. Yeah,
I don't know why they didn't do that consistently. I thought that was great. Thought that was great. Would
because
love to see challengers
because
on more than other shows too.
in fresh meat you bring in like 12 to 14 new people, and the idea is like, okay, well, hopefully some stick. I mean, think about back in the day, they would be like, all right, we have a new season of the challenge, then we have a season of real world, and now three or four of them from that real world are going to be on the challenge. But then after that, you only see like one or two of them again. So
Yeah, but come on, the pool is opened up. Not only do you have all these other reality shows, you can easily
sorry.
pull people from TikTok and other stuff. Like Matt Rife is a real popular comedian now, and I was just like,
Well, he was
I
already
don't
on.
watch Wild 'N Out, huh?
Yeah. He was all okay. You're talking about what? Okay. I was like, he was already on the challenge, but go ahead.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and that's the thing. That's where I recognize him from. I was like, oh shit, he was on Chance vs. Stars.
Yeah.
Like that was the first I ever heard of him. Didn't think much of him then because I mean he wasn't doing a whole bunch, but the more the merrier. I love the fact that they had all of these spin-offs. I just think some of the execution could have been a little bit better. But moving on to this daily, I mean this elimination, I really did like this elimination. I thought it was good. I thought you had physicality, you had puzzle pieces, no math, and I thought it was interesting to look at.
Yeah, I mean, overall, it was really good. It was an equalizer. Anybody could do it. That's the best part about it too, is that it's really anybody could figure this out and could get it right.
And you gotta have those. I love the way how Michelle, when she was coming down, she was knocking off more rungs. And it really, at one point, it looked like Olivia was going to take this whole thing away, but Michelle just absolutely crushed the puzzle part. And Olivia said that she has, some form of dyslexia, so I could see how that really, really slowed her down. But I don't think you can really take a lot away from Michelle, who's had her back to the wall to most of the episode, which I love because when her back's to the wall, she flips the fuck out and makes great TV. She's great for that. But I thought it was a really strong win, a really telling win, and a really necessary win at this time of the season for her, with her backs against the wall, and the fact that her supporting system is starting to get knocked out one by one.
so now, Michelle is 5-2 in eliminations. Not enough credit. She went 1 for 1 on Challenge USA as well. And on top of that, she's been sent home twice. I think it was well, I can kind of pull it up. So she got sent home on her first season when she was partnered with Corey L. Went out on her second elimination. And then she goes out her second ride or dies. She makes it almost the whole way, gets eliminated finally. But then after that, she was purged out on 39, and now here she is in the top six again. I mean, 5-2 in an elimination record. There are challengers out there that have never reached three elimination wins ever. I mean, we got some people that are 0-6, that have never won. But she legit has taken down some really good competitors as well. I mean,
Yeah,
Michaela, she took
Kara,
down,
Naya,
yep, she took down Naya. She took down
Tina.
Cara, Tina, Olivia now. Not all these are like the best, but she's
No, no, she got a couple wins versus who's that one girl from USA two? Amira.
Amira. Yeah,
Yeah, Amira. And she has lost to Olivia before because
her and
Ride or
Horacio.
Dies.
Yep,
Yep.
yep. But
So,
overall,
but
still
overall,
five and
fine.
two. Like that's really good. I mean, because if I'm sure there's a list somewhere of like challengers that have won X amount, I'm sure her winning five elimination wins puts her in like the top, the top half of challengers in
I would say
elimination,
so.
like of total wins.
No, I would agree. And because not many of the same people are coming back at the rate we're used to seeing. It probably puts her really in the upper echelon of the female challenge competitors that we have. We do need more female mainstays. I know that Tori's going to take a break pretty soon, but it's great to see people like Jenny West comes back. I know Casey's also going to take a break. It really might be Michelle's time. I think Michelle and Norris and Olivia are really going to be able to run the gauntlet. We should see some straight things. Would love to see Melissa Reeves come back too, because I
You
feel like.
know, yeah, I agree. Continue. Sorry.
Oh no, no, go ahead. I was kind of done.
Michelle has more elimination wins than Jenny and Rachel and Aviv.
That makes sense. Aviva's been gone for a long time, so
But
that makes
Rachel, she
sense.
has more elimination wins than Rachel. But Rachel's only
Right,
been in five ever.
but Rachel also has done pretty well at keeping her. She also has a pretty good support system and keeping her out of eliminations.
Yeah,
Having a whole bunch of eliminations isn't always the greatest thing. Cora Maria has a shitload of eliminations, and she is fucking under fire 24/7. Like that girl needed a break sometimes. But
right.
Michelle is able to get the win, able to outlast Olivia. Sucks to see Olivia go. Um, I don't know. I think I wish Olivia would have had a little bit more ambition this season. She seems to be more chill. I would love to see a little bit more fire coming out of Olivia. I do think she wants to be here. I do think she wants to win, but she needs to start playing like and making moves that's going to benefit her and not just benefit her alliance. You got to be able to find that that medium of where you got to be at. Um, of course, Michelle's gonna pick Bananas as a target. She throws in Corey and Josh, which I thought was very interesting. Um, like Derek is just sliding, man.
Banana
Look at
said it earlier. The guy's been playing the best social game this entire season. Under the radar, it's not valued as well as it should be as Derek. He's constantly finding himself in situations where people are going into elimination for him, or people are going to bat for him, or people aren't picking him. And we've been saying this ever since All Stars 4, but for a while, Derek is and this is what's great about challengers kind of getting to rewrite their history. There are people that probably, if we go back in time, what if they don't go into the first elimination and they get
mm.
some momentum and make it halfway, and the next season they make it half? You know what I mean? Maybe we see some of these challenges in a different light. If the challenge was like how it was in the 30s, where it's like rookies don't go in first. If we flip
has
flop,
has Derek
yeah.
even won a daily today? I mean, this season?
I don't believe. Well, yeah, because Era 2 has won a daily.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess that would count.
Era 2 won one daily. So that's yeah. But otherwise, no. I
Actually,
mean, he's been towards the bottom of almost everything so far. But he's top six right now. He's not a target. All he has to do is get fifth place. That's it, fifth place, and he doesn't go into elimination.
should Josh feel some kind of way about being picked by Michelle, even though they had a little
No,
tiff? No, just
he drew line in the sand. He's not with Michelle, Olivia, um, and Cara, but he said now that he's with the Angels, but he also still has Tori on his side. Like he's in Tori's top two. So like he's in a good spot. Like losing Michelle to gain Jenny and Aviv is a good trade.
I would agree with you. Before we get out of here, what them
Oh,
power rankings look like?
power rankings. Oh, okay. Well, let's start with the women.
Always for the ladies. Oh,
It's
you know
gonna
what?
seem, yeah.
I'm telling you what. I'm gonna change up the tagline. There, we need to address the fact that so many beautiful, wonderful women listen and watch us. I mean, we gotta do something for the ladies. We need a ladies' night. Lovewood Challenges
No,
Ladies'
that's
Night.
so. I mean, whatever. I mean, you can, yeah. What? Yeah. Have you know what? Yeah. If we can find a way, bring back Becky for an episode. See if she'll come in and do a
Actually,
episode.
I wanted to try to see. Damn, didn't want to say this in front of everybody, but I was going to try to see if I could get everybody on at least for a little bit for the 200th episode.
Yeah, just one. Just yeah,
Oh,
one. There it is. Just in
this
time. Well, how about this? How about this? It's ready to
motherfucking
go. So let's start with the women on our power rankings. Okay. So coming in at 6 is Aviv.
this is so embarrassing.
That's
I
okay.
hate this for me. I hate this for me.
Just turn a little bit. There, don't move, don't move, don't move, don't move.
This
Freeze.
is
Okay.
bullshit.
All right, so Aviv is 6 for me. Now I know it seems weird because she's in this alliance, but I think she is at the bottom of this alliance. I also think that her injury, why would they highlight it and then not talk about it again? I think it's going to come back up and I think it's going to hinder her. I really do. Michelle comes in at 5, another elimination win. However, she is clearly on the bottom of all this. And she just put 3 targets in. She's been last in a couple of dailies. She's more than likely to get sent right back in. The only reason she's above is because she's winning elimination. She's getting power. So I'm giving her that. Jenny's at 4, Kara's at 3, Tori's at 2, and Rachel is still at number 1.
That makes sense. I'm just so mad about this screen.
It
It
also
doesn't
got
make no
changed
sense.
to Rachel's Angels. We've been saying this for weeks now. They finally
Yep.
did it.
And
We've been
and,
talking
and you
about
know
this.
and I said that about if actually Rachel went and followed me the other day too, which is due to most of the praise I've been giving to her for how great she's been running this season, and I was just like, Aviv calling out that Bananas Angels is really Rachel's Angels is a top tier observation because
Mhm.
it's easy for us to see once it's given to us on the TV screen, but to be in the house and get it like that, like you have to be paying attention, and I'm glad she is paying attention. I think it's going to do real well for her this season. It's so great to see Aviv going so far. I know some people think that she's boring, but guess what? She's a 40-year-old mama too, man. Like what are you
She is a
expecting?
challenger. She's a champion. We shouldn't be
She's a champ.
undermining her. So let's talk about for the men. 6 is Corey. Makes sense. He just lost what he thought was his number 1, even though he has Kara. That's still not a good thing to have happen. And either way, if Olivia won, he was going to be picked as a target too, which just kind of adds to that. Um, Derek comes in at 5. Josh comes in at 4. The reason why is I think Josh is more protected than Derek, even though we see Derek constantly getting protected. I think Josh is so well protected in this game. And then he's also performing better. Josh has had like back-to-back third place finishes that we're not even talking about as well.
Also, even though Josh is a target, I don't think he's going to get voted. I don't think he's going to get voted in. I
He'd
think
have to
he's
get
so well
last, I
protected.
think.
Yeah, he will have to get last. So I think that was smart of Josh not to flip out about being chosen because he knows he probably still won't go in unless he comes in last,
Well, because let's look at it
which he hasn't been doing.
Rachel and Tori aren't going to select him. Jenny and Aviv now probably won't select him. They'd probably select Corey. And Kara, we don't know. Kara would probably throw in bananas, if we're being honest, over Josh.
Yeah.
The only way he has 2 ways that he's going to go into elimination. He gets last place or Michelle wins, and he doesn't. Like that's the only way he can go into elimination in my eyes.
Also,
Banana. Oh, go ahead.
no one's really looking at him as a threat. You're in there with Bananas and Corey. We're going to vote one of these guys out before we vote you.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he's a threat. Like, I don't think that he's the type of person that like in a final that I think could really win. I that's just me. Like, I think his best chance to win a final would have been on uh probably 39. That would have been his best chance to win a
Yeah,
final,
good
to be
chance.
honest. Like, that would have been a great cast for him to go up against. But Bananas comes in at 3, Kyland at 2, and Jordan at 1.
That makes sense. And he won today's daily, very
and
handily
and
too.
and
No
didn't
pun
get any
intended.
blood on his hands.
No pun intended.
He yeah, he he was able to he just keep himself safe. He's guaranteed. Yeah. He's kept himself safe. And I honestly, if we look at all these matchups, since we're not going to get another balls in or a hall brawl or a pole wrestle, I think he's pretty safe in any elimination against anybody. Because those are the three that like would really hinder him against Corey. Like Corey would destroy him in any of those.
Right.
And same with like Josh would destroy him in a hall brawl, in a pole wrestle type thing, you know. And so I
Think
yeah.
Josh should destroy Jordan and Harborough?
Yeah, Josh is way bigger than Jordan. I don't like Josh is like the size of like Fessy about like they're about the same size. Like I think size wise it would I mean maybe okay that's a maybe. I always it's different because Jordan's only experience with a hall brawl was a 2v2, so it was kind of different because the guy that was trying to block him was
Right.
also getting pushed, so he didn't really have to go. But he's not as like I don't think he's as physically strong as like Josh. I think that's what Josh has over him is pure like strength.
Makes sense.
Um and
That's
so
actually a really good matchup. I would love to see Jordan's athleticism and ingenuity and strategy goes against Josh's brute strength.
I would
Sounds
love to
weird.
see a hall brawl with two guys that are not like the most physically imposing, you know, like without not a like the closest we've had to like a hall brawl where it is like
Jay
almost
versus
even
Asif and Harborough would be great.
with that. But we once had Kahada versus oh my God, why am I drawing a blank at his name? Oh my God, he was on Real World New Orleans. He was Ryan Knight's rival. Um,
Go
this
ahead.
is embarrassing.
Preston?
Preston. It was Preston versus Kahada on Free Agents in an elimination called Oppenheimer, which was a
Yes.
circular hall brawl. That
Why
was
they
like
don't
the
bring that
most.
back? That was
That's a great one.
man. Free agents had really great elims. They really did.
The only one that was bad was the wall punching one because even though they made it dramatic, I believe that was always over in like 10 to 20 seconds. And I think
But
that there should be like a puzzle added to it or something. Like there should be something else
you know
added.
what though? They gave us really two iconic moments, and Pride, the episode 7, Pride Before the Fall, that or Pride Before the Wall. That was a
Mhm.
great one because of what Jordan did. He gave a badass moment, flipping all the cards, yada yada yada. But also the Carver moment against Laura, where she had no chance to win, and really great moment. So I think its relevancy and timeliness of those kind of make it seem a lot better than what it actually was.
That is the season that I believe that you can rewatch
Oh,
over and over
Free Agents is
again,
the best
and
challenge season
it's
there ever was.
yeah, and I think it is always great just because of the format is fantastic. It always like you could show somebody that's never seen that season, but they've seen a bunch of others, and it would be a journey for them because they wouldn't know who could win. It would constantly changes. Like I would love to see. I wish there was a way to like see reactions of people that are like got into the challenge and like 35 on, like the reality era of the challenge where it's
Hmm.
outside sources, and like no, go back and watch some of these. Go check it out because I my wife hasn't seen all of them, and so every now and then we'll watch some of them, and I'll like pause and be like, "Hold on, I'll wait for you." Why? Well, because this is just wait. This sounds.
Yeah,
I
no,
you need
I
you
want to
gotta
see
watch
what you.
this.
Yeah,
You
I want
got
to see how
yeah.
you feel when watching. Absolutely great. Well, anything else we got to get to before we go ahead and get out of here?
No, I think we've kind of done really well explaining everything. Nice talk. I mean, this episode was really like drama and infused. So us kind of dragging some parts out, going into our own lives and everything. I think it's fine. I think we're
Absolutely.
good to
I know,
go.
and I know how some of you guys hate it when we talk about ourselves, but I love it. Absolutely. That's gonna do it for us. Thank you guys all for watching. Thank you guys all for listening. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at LWC Podcast. Follow us on Facebook and TikTok at Love Word Challenges. I know I keep promising I'm gonna change those. I'm going to change those today. And make sure you listen to Love Word Challenges podcast on Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or your favorite podcast app. Once again, I am MTV Malik. He is Tyler Louder. This is Love War Challenges. Good night. Also, last green screen ever. I'm done. I'm done. Fuck this. Oh shit, I didn't even make my bed. It's crazy. Anyway,
Yeah.
this all has to go down. I'm done with it all. It's a wrap. We out of here. All right. I'll talk to you guys later.